Welcome to another episode of the Art of Feminine Negotiation podcast. And I'm really excited to be with you today with Marta Perales and introducing you to her. And we're going to be talking today about negotiating your confidence by seeing your own beauty, or otherwise known as how a photography session can help you get your confidence back. So welcome, Marta. It is so great to have you here.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to get my message out and to help women gain that confidence that somehow they lost or we tend to lose,
Yeah.
in our lives.
And I can't wait to dig in with you about that. And for our listeners or our viewers out there, Marta Perales is an exceptional photographer, and she focuses on boudoir photography. And her mission, which I so love, is to help women see their own beauty so that they can start owning their power in their identity and femininity. So you can see how it's with Women on Purpose, where we're all about helping women leverage their power to step into it. I was totally drawn to Marta. And the first time I saw her artwork, we'll have to try and share some images with you as well in the show notes so you can take a look. It is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And I can't wait to do my session with Marta as well. She just does brilliant work and shows women in such a gorgeous, authentic, vulnerable way. Super, super powerful. And I really encourage you all to take a look at it. So tell me, Marta, so many women do suffer from crisis of confidence. I think it's a real issue. What do you think is behind that? Like, what are some of the factors that cause women to lose their confidence?
I think, one of the main factors that makes this problem bigger, obviously, it's the media, right? We are bombarded every day with perfect bodies, or what they call perfect bodies, right? Or, skinnier people, in the actresses, TV shows, movies. And for some reason, we buy into that idea that that if we are not like that, we don't look good, or we don't, it does affect us into thinking that if I have a few kilos of overweight, then I am not pretty, and that creates a lot of lack of self-confidence. It's really funny because this is my story, and this is why I'm so very passionate about it. I've never been a skinny person, and most of my life, until like 2 or 3 years ago, and not even 3 years probably, I was never confident. The never-ending dieting back and forth, losing some weight, seeing, you start to see results, but it wasn't where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So what would happen is I would get impatient and fall back, and then start to feel that lack of confidence and just not being okay with what I was. So life took, that's been like most of the story of my life. And then one day I was at a photography conference, and it was mostly women, very few men. And I got to, I was standing close to a photographer who is a male.
Yeah.
And he happened to be a boudoir photographer, and we started talking about this. And I said, I would never be able to do something like that. I said, look at my tummy, and look at my thighs, and look at my arms. And he, exactly, yeah, the problem that most women face, or a lot of women face. And he said, but it's nothing about that. It's, you are beautiful the way you are. And he said, the things that you are mentioning, I don't see that. I see a beautiful woman. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I said, okay, well, I'm not sure, and I'll get back to you. But I got back to him, and I said, I'm gonna do it. I think I need this for myself. I need to experience it. I need to see really what this is about. So to make the story shorter, I did. I did it. It was a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest, because I did not know him, and you are not with a lot of clothes, right? And but he guided me very professionally, and he made me feel comfortable during the session.
Yeah.
But then when I saw the photos, it was it was just like a rush of emotions and things, and I cried because I had
Oh,
never been able to see myself that way. I
I
saw my,
love this.
I saw myself beautiful, and I saw myself as this, amazing woman. And I'm like, why have I been so blind to my own beauty and femininity and power, and let all these ideas that because I have a few kilos more of weight, I'm not worth it. Like, that is so sad and stupid. I mean,
I so love and thank you, Marta, for sharing that vulnerable story yourself. I love that. So tell me, how do you then get other women to get to that place of comfort? Because we have so much baggage that we carry our whole life. And I've seen, as I say, some of your photos, and clearly you get women to a place where they are in such a state of absolute, pure, natural, raw, vulnerable beauty. It's gorgeous. So what do you do to bring that out? How do you get them to that place where they can be comfortable to do that?
yeah. So first of all, I have what we call a pre-consultation call, and I want to understand exactly what they are looking for. I make sure that if the person is not comfortable showing a lot of skin, then that's perfectly fine. Fully dressed,
Yeah.
we can make you look so beautiful and sexy and
Yeah.
feminine, powerful. It's not about the clothes, but for some reason this type of photography helps women bring that confidence back, because we're showing you, look, this is you, right?
Yeah.
we I it's all you. And it's funny because during my sessions I've had women, because I see a photo like that I just took and it's so beautiful, and I show them, and they go like, are you sure that's me? I'm like, you just told me to take that photo. Of course it's you. It's just like we are so blind to
Yes.
what's beautiful and right with us. Like Tony says, it's very easy for us to see what's wrong, and that's what
Yeah.
we typically do every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. And can I ask you, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I know some women out there listening are going to go, well, I don't like the idea of boudoir because it sexualizes us or shows that our only value is in our sexuality. And I don't agree with that, but I would love your input on it as well. What are your thoughts about that?
Again, it's up to the person, right? I I completely respect everyone's opinions about the type of photography. uh, I think it offers the opportunity for someone to maybe get out of their comfort zone and
Absolutely.
do something that they've never done for themselves.
I
you
love
know
that.
it's
Yeah.
what are you going to lose if you try this? If you don't like it, then you didn't lose anything. You didn't I mean, you maybe whatever the session costed, or maybe you'll find a photographer that if you're not happy with him, he'll won't charge you. I don't know,
Yeah.
but there's nothing to lose, and there is a lot to gain, especially if you're one that doesn't feel too comfortable on your own skin.
I love it.
uh, yeah.
Yeah.
And just go ahead,
No,
sorry.
no, sorry. And I was going to say, it's like so much of, I think, our sense, and I mean, there's this conflict and tension, and I understand that where, for so long when women didn't have any rights, we weren't able to vote or hold property in our own name. And we were subject to, just sort of seen as objects of sexual. So I get the pushback on that.
Yeah.
And yet I think the answer isn't to pull away from that and deny that part of ourselves. For me, it's we were so made to feel shame about that. Doing boudoir photography for yourself is the opposite. It's releasing all that shame, and it's tapping into so much of our power as women does come from our sensuality, and not in a sexualized way. It's the essence of our, you know, I mean, they have programs and courses now, call it your, you know, about getting the power from your yoni or whatever, right? I mean, it's just so much of our power comes from there. For us to deny that part of ourselves is to deny ourselves. And I love this idea, Marta, about getting out of our comfort zone, because so much of the work we do in my programs as well as women, it's like, you know, if you got into your car and you realized you had the emergency brake on, you wouldn't keep driving with the emergency brake on, right? You'd release the brake. And yet we go through life, so much of our life, with our psychological emergency brakes on. So I really invite, for the listeners out there and for the people watching, to think, maybe is this an area, like if you feel that angst, that discomfort, even talking about the idea of getting a boudoir photography session for yourself, maybe it's time to get out of that comfort zone and let yourself sort of surrender to that a bit, because otherwise, you know, ask yourself if maybe you're going through your life in a safe space with your psychological emergency brake on. So
yeah. And then, you know, the other thing that I think I would like would like women to think about is, imagine this type of sessions are for you only. Like it's for you.
yeah,
It's gonna help you, you know, gain that confidence and say, yes, I am that woman, and why can I be like that every day of my life?
yeah,
You know, I can see it. Can you imagine waking up every day, seeing your photo and saying, yeah, I'm gonna be that today, or I'm going to a meeting and I'm gonna be that powerful feminine. But the other thing is, imagine if you are in a relationship, imagine your significant other seeing those photos.
yeah,
It's like, and I'm looking at that because I'm imagining like a beautiful photo of,
yeah.
like, how powerful would that be? I mean, I think
Yeah,
men want nothing else but adore you,
yeah,
or your significant other. I mean, it doesn't have to
yeah,
be,
yeah,
but that's all
absolutely.
they want to do. And you know, how powerful would that be? How beautiful.
I love that. And why don't you share some tips with us about things that you would suggest women can do with their body if they don't feel confident in their body, which I suspect is the case for a lot of women.
Yeah. Well, what I would first thing is look at yourself in the mirror, because I know this is something difficult for a lot of people. And instead of by default looking at what you don't like, because you're gonna go to the mirror and you're gonna see, oh my God, look at that, the wrinkle, or my skin is beginning to sag, or look at my, you know, you're gonna go
Hmm.
like.
Sure.
But instead, like, stop yourself, and instead appreciate, like, oh my God, you have short hair or long hair, like what's good about that type of hair that
Yeah.
you have, you know. Appreciate your eyes that let you see,
Yeah.
appreciate your mouth that it lets you talk, appreciate your ears that they let you hear. Like, just simple things. Start appreciating your body. But do it in an exercise every morning. Like, it doesn't take more than 1 minute.
I love that.
And you know, hopefully each day you will be adding to that list, and getting to a point where you fully accept yourself as you are.
I
Because
love
you know, it is, the thing with our body and with everything else in our lives is we need to learn how to be happy with what we have, because a better body is not going to make us happier than what we are today.
yeah.
A bigger house is not going to make us happier.
Mm,
A newer car or a more expensive car is not. It's like, what we if we have if we know how to be happy with what we have, we will be happy with whatever we
yeah.
have, right?
Yeah. I love that. That is super powerful shift. And again, I hope for the people who are listening out there, really just take a moment to breathe that in and absorb it, because that is an absolute game changer in life. Being able to love yourself unconditionally and show up with gratitude for where you at and what you have is just such a powerful shift out of negativity to a life of possibility and positivity and stepping into your power. I love everything about that. And I love that it was that shift for you came from a man who you didn't even know, who was able to see your beauty and let you know and truly appreciate that you're perfect just the way you are. I think that's so beautiful. And I,
Yes, yes. Do you remember Cindy in I'm sorry, I know we know each other from last year during
yeah,
the Plaid year,
yeah.
but there was in the Plaid and the trip to Cambodia,
Mm-hmm.
and Ash said something about the image that you see in the mirror is not, it's not what other people see.
Yeah.
So let you see what other people see.
Yeah, I love that. And I love your exercise on that. And again, I know for a lot of people out there, you hear this stuff and you go, oh yeah. And yet you stay in that comfort zone because it makes you a little uncomfortable to do it. So I really invite you to actually go and do the exercise that Marta suggests. And it's funny, I have sort of a different version. I love your version of that, but I'll often tell women in my groups to, stand in front of the mirror every night for at least, 21 days or 30 days preferably, but enough to sort of change that habit and just love on yourself unconditionally. Like look yourself in the eyes in the mirror, say your name, and acknowledge all of the things that you've done that day, because we beat ourselves up about our looks, about things that we feel we failed at, and yet we don't take the time to love on ourselves. So I actually love some combination of that where I love your idea about loving on yourself physically as well, the things that you can look at and see so you come to appreciate your body.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, for the boudoir shots, as you say, people can choose themselves about, how much clothing or not they want. But even for women, like in our personal lives, a lot of women, I think, are very reluctant to, wear lingerie or things like that because they don't feel comfortable. Do you have any tips for women on that, on tips on how to, maybe how to grab lingerie or what to think about it, how to approach that in their life?
Yeah, well, I think that the for people that are reluctant on buying sexy lingerie is because it comes with that demonization about sexuality, right?
Yeah,
Like they kind of go together. Maybe they think of it as trashy or
yeah,
as something like that, but it's empowering.
yeah,
Like just change the story about it. It's
yeah,
empowering. It's imagine that you go to a party. Okay, I'm gonna imagine a person who is single like me, right?
yeah,
I'm single, I go to a party, and maybe maybe there's gonna be the opportunity to meet people, to meet single men, I don't know. And under my dress, which is a very normal dress, nothing,
yeah,
not showing, but underneath I'm wearing like a super sexy lingerie, like a
yeah,
set of brand panties, very sexy, very, that only I know,
yeah.
and makes me feel sexy. Like how powerful that be.
I love that. I love that. Because and you mentioned that earlier, and I just want to reinforce that as well, how powerful. This isn't about doing it for for necessarily for a male or to be a sexual object. It's for you.
It's for
This is
you.
for you. The feeling that you get feeling sexy, and it makes you show up differently. It allows you to step into, the most powerful version of yourself. And
Yes.
why would we deny ourselves that, right? I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. So in terms of items to buy, um, definitely buy something that you think you will wear many
Yeah.
times. Like don't buy something because you saw it in a magazine, but you maybe it's not really you. So
Yeah.
it depends on how much you're willing to get out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? And things like a bodysuit, those things that are one piece.
Yeah.
I think they're also called teddies. They sell them long sleeve, short sleeve, different type of textures.
Hmm.
Those things are so versatile because you can wear them under like a cute jean jacket or a more formal jacket, and they dress up really well, and they can be super sexy too.
Yeah.
Um, go for colors that you never go,
Mm-hmm.
that you typically don't have, and just have fun with it. It's,
I love that.
yeah, it's something for you. It should be like, for my boudoir shop, what I tell my clients is like, it's part of the experience. Your experience, if you don't have any lingerie that you own already and you're
Yeah.
gonna go shopping, like, make it part of the experience. Get excited about it. Like, it's
Nice.
like planning a trip, right? Like,
Yes.
yes. So I also I already have a guide that I'm using in my website for people to sign up to my email. So
Beautiful.
I'll give it to your
Oh,
audience.
beautiful. Well, we'll make sure, thank you for that, Marta. That's very generous. So we'll make sure in the show notes to give you guys the link so that you can access these tips on shopping for lingerie as well. And I like the idea about making it a whole experience for yourself too. So helps inspire a little excitement and anticipation for it instead of it being something that we shy away from, right? Which is so
Yeah.
important. Now, as you know, my Women on Purpose is all about sort of rediscovering your passion. And that's one of the reasons as well I'm so attracted to what you do. I've got to believe, how do you think that this going through this experience and embracing sort of this boudoir experience helps women rediscover their passion a bit, Marta?
I think that because if it's a transformative experience for you, then maybe you start looking at your life differently, right?
Mm,
I feel that people, again, because it all comes to how much are you willing to get out of that zone where you
yeah,
feel comfortable. Like, experiment with, if you've never been to volunteer, you know, volunteering may be your true passion.
yeah,
If you've never taken a course on how to do makeup,
yeah,
take one. Experience, like,
yeah,
experimenting is how it's how we live the things that are not in our
yeah.
everyday world. And you never know. Listen to someone that you've never listened to. So, for example, um, if you are not an Oprah follower, well, maybe one day listen to what Oprah has to say.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll find power in what she says,
yeah,
or the different influencers. I'm not advocating for her, but
yeah.
just like getting out of. I think getting out of a comfort zone. It's where the growth is, and
Beautiful.
being willing to fail too, right?
Yeah.
and
That's
and to
so
say
beautiful.
and to say that, that's not for me. It's okay. I won't do it, but at least you tried it.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's so beautiful. And in particular, because what you're describing really, it's about growing. And
It's
we
about,
all need to grow in life, right? And the only way you're going to grow is to experience new things and rediscover those things that you're passionate about and those things that you're not, and be able to have fun with that as well. And just as you said about Oprah as well and the other influencers, especially given everything that's going on in the current climate right now, just to speak about the elephant in the room, um, I think it's a beautiful opportunity as well to go get outside of your comfort zone, to start listening to people that are different than you, frankly. And again, for myself, coming from, a place of white privilege, which I recognize, I may think as a woman, I've experienced discrimination before, for example. And yeah, I have. And, or coming from a low income background, I've, experienced, class discrimination. But we can never know somebody else's experience, to be discriminated against on the basis of race or the color of your skin, or being a racialized person. So one of the ways to push past that is to be able to open yourself up to different perspectives and hearing different voices. And I think we don't do that enough when we stay in our comfort zone. So I think this whole idea about stepping out of your comfort zone to do a boudoir can have ripple effects that are
yes,
so
and
much more profound and beyond that. Because as you step out of your comfort zone in one area, it leaves you open to step outside your comfort zone in other areas and be more open to hearing different perspectives and ideas. And who knows, in so doing it, you may rediscover passions you never knew you had. So I love
yeah.
that. Thank you for sharing that.
No, you're welcome.
Now, I understand you have a campaign, which I'm super excited about, to photograph 40 women over 40 years old and have like a gallery style celebration. Tell me about that. It sounds like such a gorgeous idea.
Yes. So as for women, as we age, we start, it's about the confidence again, and the media and what we see, and maybe not feeling as young. But in my experience, the older I've gotten, the more secure about my, like the more
Nice.
confident, and the better I feel about myself.
Yeah.
And I want to, I want other women to feel that. And photography for me is so powerful, Cindy. I mean, I could speak all day about how powerful I think it is, and not just for people, but for, for other things as well. But it's it's about the opportunity of for women over 40 to feel that they are, not because they aged, which it's ridiculous because 40 is still very young.
Yeah.
But it can be for 50, 60,
Yeah.
70s. But not because you've aged, you've lost your value. On the contrary, you are more valuable than ever.
I
You
love
know,
that. That is so
you are
important.
like, as we age, we are even worthier
Yes.
than ever before.
I so love that you're doing this, because I do think for women of a certain age, we start to feel invisible. And I'll be honest, I suffered from that for a period. It took me a long time. Like I used to, be able to walk into a room and feel confident about sort of owning it, right? Or at least being comfortable being there. And all of a sudden I reached a certain point, and it's this internal shift that we have, right? And this is another area where I think your boudoir shots would really help for that. Having that session to get you tap back into that power of your feminine sensuality, regardless of your age or what stage you're at in life. Because when you get to the stage where you're walking into rooms or feeling like nobody sees you, like you're not heard and you're invisible, my gosh, that takes such a beating to your self-esteem, such an absolute beating to your self-esteem. So finding ways to push past that. And I love the idea on both levels with this campaign that you're doing. Women have visibility, both internally and literally the physical manifestation of having it out there as this gallery type celebration. I think it's
Yes.
gorgeous.
Yes, I'm very excited to be able to do this. And imagine a room that you walk into a gallery and see enlargements
Yes.
of mature women.
Yeah.
And
And if people are
gorgeous.
interested in that, how can they reach out to you? Are you looking for women who are interested in sort of being subjects for it, or how are you going to be handling that?
Yeah, I will shortly put a link in my website.
Okay.
So by signing up to my emails, when I'm ready to launch the campaign, you'll be notified.
Okay, beautiful. I just love that idea.
Yeah.
And I want to also give you a chance to because I know you're creating a new course as well to help people. And again, separate from the boudoir shots,
Yeah.
just because you love photography so much and are so passionate about what a shift it can make for people. I know you're putting a course out there to help people learn how to use even their iPhones for their own photos to maximize value. So tell us a little bit about what that's about.
Yeah. So what I've, last year especially, I found out that people have these super powerful tools, right? iPhones, and not many people know how to use them. So
Guilty.
I kept wondering, like, what? So when they get an iPhone, what is the idea behind it? Why do you spend so much money on it,
Yeah.
and but you don't take the time to learn it? And then I realized, well, because some things I had to figure out on my own, right? I love technology. I worked in technology for a long time, so I love figuring things out, and that's like natural for me, but not for many people. I realize that. So I'm like, so what if I help people that maybe they're not. Oh my God, what's the generation? The younger
The
people.
millennials?
Millennials, thank you. Maybe they're not millennials that didn't grow up with with knowing how to do everything
Yeah.
And I help them get over that and just feel comfortable using their phones, and also learning a little bit about photography, just enough to be able
Yeah.
to get really nice photos, even photos that you can print, because that's the other thing, right? Like no one prints
Yeah.
photos anymore, which I think it's so sad.
Yeah.
um, so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my idea, to help people that to get over that, like, oh, I'm not taking enough. It's okay, you can learn it. It's very easy. It's
Yeah.
very easy, and it's so powerful, the
Oh, you're going
iPhone.
to have to sign me up for both. I've got mine right here, and I am totally guilty as charged. I am definitely one of the ones. You spend this money getting the latest iPhone, and I use it as a phone. I use it to text, and yeah, I'll take pictures with it, but I don't know how to, work the lighting or be able to get the back to none of that stuff. So you're going to have me. I'm going to have to sign up for your course, and I'm going to have to come for one of your boudoir sessions. Definitely.
Also, yeah, I can't wait, Cindy. And also, um, I am working on creating a network of other photographers that do this type of photography, so that obviously I can be everywhere, right? As much as I would love to, and right now with all the restrictions.
Yeah.
So I'm working on creating this network of photographers that I can refer people to. So
I love that. Marta, I've got to say, you are such an inspiration. You really are truly a gorgeous soul, inside and out. Everything about you is just so beautiful
thank you,
and
Cindy.
it's
Thank
so
you for
compassionate. So, can I ask, you normally like to end off by asking our guests, what is one of the greatest mindset shifts that you would say you've had in your life? And sorry to put you on your spot. I forgot to give you a heads up. This was coming. So,
Um, I would say it's to be grateful
mm,
for what I have, for where I am, for the failures that I've had, and the risks that I've taken.
beautiful.
You know,
I love that. That's
it
very,
all comes back to the growth, right? How much are you willing to get out of what's comfortable to grow and risk? Sometimes
yeah.
risk is involved. It's just like an investment, and for me it's okay, I did something, maybe I failed, but what did you learn, right?
Yeah.
And how is that going to help you?
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Just even as you're saying that, my brain's going like, really, all of our growth in life, like to live life and play full out is a risk. I mean, really, you risk your heart being broken when you let yourself love. But if you're not prepared to take that risk, you'll never experience true love in your life or be open to it. You'll never be able to achieve your maximum potential if you're not prepared to take the risk that you're going to fall down along the way and learn from it. So that is gorgeous. Thank you for sharing that. So,
Thank you, thank you.
and for our listeners and our viewers out there, if you want to learn more about Marta on Instagram or Facebook, you can check her out at either Magnificent Femme, and that's the French for woman, Femme, so Magnificent Femme, or also at it's Marta Perales Photography, is that right? So it's MartaPerales Photography. And also, you've mentioned your website a couple times. It sounds like you've got great resources. Please share with us, Marta, what's your website so people can find you there as well.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
magnificentfemme.com.
beautiful. Okay, so there you go. So that's for on Instagram or for her website as well, that Magnificent Femme. And thank you so much for joining us. This has been really a beautiful discussion. I've loved every minute of it, Marta. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Cindy. It's been my pleasure, and I can't wait to see you again in person and to do your shoot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for all our listeners and viewers out there, again, I'm sure you, like me, just got loads of value from this episode. And if so, make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already done so, or for our YouTube channel. And make sure to share with anyone that you think could get some value from this message. And frankly, I would say any woman in your life that you care about at all would benefit from this message, because you're sensing the theme about getting outside of your comfort zone and how important that is in helping you to live into the best possible version of yourself. And so let's face it, who couldn't benefit from that, right? And make sure as well, since we've talked a lot about confidence, I'm going to also put all of the things that Marta's talked about in the show notes so you can access as well to be able to get her, find out more about her, 40 After 40 campaign, as well as her boudoir photography and her new course coming out. And I'll also throw on there as well our free ebook about your personal confidence boost as well, because I think the two are really connected. It's just so important. So you can do a quick read of the confidence boost before you go get your personal boudoir shot to boost your confidence. And make sure, as always, to join our Women on Purpose community as well on facebook.com/groups/Women on Purpose community. And that's a wrap for this episode. So until next time, go forth and negotiate your best life on your terms so that you can stop missing out and start getting more of what you want and deserve from the boardroom to the bedroom, which is particularly appropriate given this particular podcast interview. So until next time, take care.